Hi, good morning. This is Teacher Terry and some of his wonderful online adventures, but they're not always about online. Sometimes they're about all kinds of other stuff that I've picked up along the way. One thing that I've noticed is when new people are hired, typically in any company, it's one of two people. First kind is people come on, they're a little bit intimidated or shy, whatever. They've got a lot of knowledge, but they kind of sit back and they want to blend in. In other words, they're observing the team, finding their niche, seeing how things work, and they're not really wanting to upset the cart as it was. They just want to get going and, check things out, kind of wade the water a little bit, test it. You got the other kind, though, that comes in there and they're wanting to show themselves. They're wanting to get in there and make a mark. They're wanting to move up as quick as they can, and they're wanting people to say, look at what I can do. Now, if you're doing one-on-one classes, especially these night groups and things like that, where you're all by yourself with your little group, I think that's fine. Get out there and shine. Turn on your light and brighten up the world. That's fine. I really don't have too many comments on that. You've seen what I've said before. I think it should be real teachers out there helping children. But you know what? I can find some leeway looking back on it. I just think for that there's too many teachers. But a TEFL probably okay, because what would be the difference really in people paying you and coming to your house and you tutor? I can kind of see that. But I'm kind of talking right now, in fact I am talking right now about daytime schools where you're actually in the classroom. And as you know, I feel like that's a professional position. You're in the classroom. You're not going to get hired in a public school with a TEFL. Let's get real. You need a degree, you need a license, you need to be certified, and that degree should be in education. So these are the things that I'm talking about today. You got two people. One comes in, looks, observes, listens, kind of goes along with their mentors. Most people get a mentor. And they kind of ease in and build themselves up in a more sustainable way where they don't make too much waves, but they're being observed and the good things they do will be noticed. Then you got that other person that comes in there and it's hey, I've done this, I can do this, I'm this, blah, 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 me, looky, and that's really true. Maybe not to that extreme, but they do that. And I can say this from an example that I work at two daytime companies. And they're very dynamically, they operate very differently. One, the material at one school is super simple and easy to look. It's very engaging. Students don't get confused with it. And once the students understand your mode and what you're doing, they can flow right in. It's a lot more engaging. It's a lot more role playing. It's a lot more getting those students involved. The thing that company does, though, is I've got a school that I teach at, primarily one school, and I am the teacher in 3 grades. There are no other teachers in those grade levels. I'm their teacher. There's another teacher that's teaching a couple of the higher levels, but they're in another they're in a whole other area. I am in like the elementary or junior high school, and they're more in the upper level school, maybe a whole other campus, I don't know, a whole other building. We're doing online teaching to the whole classroom. Now, I'm not being compared, so what they do over there is great. What I do over here is great. I have a lot of results. I have a lot of praise. I have a lot of good remarks about the teaching. The other teacher does too. We are, I feel like, more of a classroom assigned teacher. Now, the other company is very different. They've gone out and literally, in my opinion, attacked these huge schools and to get a huge contract. And it's kind of been, when I first started with them, it was really cool because there was a lot of older teachers and we more or less in the same flow. We're not out there bouncing around. But the whole over the last couple of years, they've hired a bunch of new teachers, and they've come in there with all kinds of stuff, like, I can sing, I can do this stuff. Can you look at me? I'm having fun. They got guitars and they got all this stuff. Some of them started using Manicam and all these wonderful colors and stuff. And what happened was there was a big shift. Instead of these new teachers coming in and listening and asking for advice, they started running on their own path. A lot of them did. And when we recommended to them or advised them, I know in my case, I said a couple of things. Now, a Westerner should understand this term. It's not derogatory. It's a description of a type. Dog and pony show, meaning you're entertaining. You're out there just, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, stuff like that. Well, here comes little Miss Bebop, or Mr. Look at me. And these Chinese teachers are going, hey, wait a minute. They're young. They're beautiful. Image is everything in China. You can give them an empty Christmas box, wrapped beautifully. They'll choose that over a bad wrap box that's got gold in it. I'm not lying. Image is everything. Quality and substance don't really mean much to many of these Chinese and Asians, really. They're a concept. What I see is what I like. What I hear, I might like, I might not. What happened was this. They started coming in there doing all this fancy, and in that school, this company may have a big school. Let's say you got 4 English classes, and they're all at the same time. Some of them are. So you've got people walking around looking. Oh, I like this one. Oh, this one is so much fun. They're laughing. The kids are engaged. They're not engaged. They're laughing. They're having fun. You should have a little fun, I agree. You should be able to entertain a little bit, keep them on focus, but you don't want to be burning up time. See, a lot of these teachers thought that this daytime school was a lot like their nighttime work, where they got one student and they could just da-da, da-da, like data ABC, you stop at a point, you bookmark it, and you could pick up there the next time. A lot of these courses, you got 2 or 3 kids, and you can really allocate it out, and you can just, put on a big show with these kids because there's 3 of them, and you can manipulate that time well. Or you can burn it off, and a lot of people got in the habit of burning off time. What's happened is, let's say you've got 3 established teachers and 1 new teacher, and this one's coming in there using the Manicam. Look at my beautiful background. Look at my guitar. Listen to my song. Look at me. Hey, I'm just wonderful. I love it. And they're just overboard. Now, I know we need to do some things. TPR, I know we need to engage the students, but there's a point where you've gone overboard, over the threshold. Now, suddenly, this teacher that's been there for 2 years isn't fun enough. Looks bad. This teacher's been there for 2 years. Well, I really like this one better. This teacher that's been teaching for 40 years, it's gotten results. Oh, well, they're too old, the students, But they didn't look at the results. They looked at this little performer, this pretty person, this person that's saying, look at me. And now a lot of these have lost their classes. It's happened to me. I've even heard the term, some schools have you blacklisted. They don't want you. Now that's telling me I'm too old, I'm not handsome enough, or I'm not entertaining enough. Doesn't tell me I can't teach, because I know I can teach. I'm not the greatest, but I'm surely not the worst. I'm a good teacher. I can always get better. I think in today's, if you're going to come into that daytime, I use the word, this is a professional position. The younger teachers complain to the top, who's going to listen to the young and beautiful, and they're going to listen to the schools. He said, I'm not professional. Well, I didn't say that. I said we should be professional and see it as a professional job. He said, I was doing a dog and pony show. Well, you were, and I didn't mean it. I said we should not do so much of a dog and pony show that it distracts and makes the other teachers look bad. You see, what's happened is these younger teachers want this up and coming, this so-called easy work. This I can sit at home and do this. I want everything I can get. I'm not going to listen to those teachers that's been here for 3 years. I don't have to listen to those people who tell me I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't do that. I don't have to do anything. I'm young, I'm entitled, and I know what I'm doing. I've got a TEFL. Okay. You see, when you get into the one school that I really like the best, you don't see a lot of the older teachers saying anything because the young ones won't listen. The young ones are out there dog and ponying. And what's happened recently is I was put on a team with another person who itemizes every little thing in this check. Instead of writing it on a suggestion form, in this slide I would do this, and this I would do that, and this I would do that, and turn it in. No, I would do this, this is it, and he does his name out there, his name out there, his name out there, his name out there. Now, we're both looking at something from the two opposite points of view, and he's got some good ideas, but a lot of his ideas are overkill, overthought. They really are. I can tell he's really a young person, even though he may have a few years teaching. After 40 years, I can tell he still needs a little bit of tweaking on theory, methodology, stuff like that. But I like him. I don't necessarily trust him, but I like him. Another thing, I got in another group, and there's this girl there, and this girl, she comes on, oh, I see that most of our team are senior teachers. Well, what the hell are you doing over us as a junior teacher? I can tell you this. When she first came on, she's on the, oh, I would do this, oh, I do this, I do this, and her name's just showing up, bam, 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 like she's the Betty Crocker and the Juliet Childs of cooking. Do this, try this, I do this. Oh, that's one. She puts her name out there, her name's out there. Look at me, hey, here I am, here I am, here I am. You know, the squeaky wheel needs to get greased. Now, they want to get greased, but I think they need to get greased. Two different ideas. You don't take a really good freshman football player and put him on the varsity team. My coach taught me something a long time ago. I want to say two people. Coach took a very good football player, up-and-coming star, put him on the varsity team because his grades were good enough, and set him on the bench for his sophomore year. Set him on that bench. Why? He had an ego. He had to pull that kid down. He had to say, observe the team, engage the team, learn your position in that team. Practiced hard, played a few games, didn't play a lot. He wasn't the main focus or player, even though he probably was better than some. His junior year, he got to play about half of the games, but when it was really down in the crunch, he wasn't played. He would sit on the bench and watched. Didn't like it. He almost quit. But in that last year, that senior year, he realized what had happened. He'd become a leader. He started helping the younger ones. He started realizing his position was an important position. He needed to focus on his position, not on himself, on the team. He started working as a team member. He started helping the team. He started encouraging the team. He started uplifting his fellow teammates. He ended up with a scholarship. He's a great man. He's a good young man, a good father and husband, and he learned to chalk that ego. I think this is what happens with a lot of these online companies. If you're in this daytime environment, we've already been there. Don't come in and try to outshine us. Listen to what we know. When I started teaching in the public schools, they put me under an old lady who had about 5 more years to retire, and she'd gone over retirement. She could have retired earlier. This lady sit down and not insulted me, but irritated me the first day, first week. I would do this. I would try this. Being a new teacher, it's important you understand this. I knew everything. I just came out of college. She was an old teacher. She didn't know the new ways. And guess what? After the first 6 weeks, everything that lady told me worked. And I started to understand. Go get advice from the ones that's been there, because they can help you avoid a lot of problems. And that lady was the best helper I ever had. In the military, the chief petty officer and the warrant officer, the WO3, those that had worked themselves up through the ranks and earned that rank through years of experience, were the ones that taught me how to be a good instructor. One of the things they said was this: you've got to talk down low enough that the uneducated, those that have minimal social skills, that are coming into the military that from lower socioeconomic classes, can understand and relate, but not so low that those that are from a higher social standard educational system won't be engaged and won't find it boring. So you had to learn the dynamics of what the military was about. You couldn't be too high, you couldn't be too low. You had to be right there in the middle and bumping it. And that was a big change for me. That was something that I had to learn. That was something that helped me a lot. Now, I do have moments, I do make mistakes. There are times when I do feel like I'm better than others. I think we all do that. There are times I know I need to sit back. There are times I feel like no one's listening to me. And I make a lot of these videos now because of that. You know, I've been with a couple of companies that went out of business. That wasn't my fault, but the way the second one, the way they treated the older teachers, the teachers have been there longer. I really went from loving them to just, I see them with disdain. The daytime companies, I feel like the older teachers are being pushed aside because their company's not standing up for quality. They're going for more entertaining. It seems like on an interview, number one, they want a picture. You pass by looks. Number two, in your interview, and if you got all these referral monkeys out there, you know, who's taught you how to dog and pony show these things, or if you just already know, you go in there, you do a bang-up deal, and you TPR, and you dance around, you might sing along. They're looking, can he entertain? So right away, does he look good? Does she look good? Can they entertain? Can they make the kids laugh, enjoy themselves? They don't know if you can teach yet, really. You might do a little PowerPoint, 5 or 10 minutes. You might show them that you can follow the flow of what they're looking, but they haven't seen you with students. They don't know if you can teach. I think it should be turned around. Now, one of these daytime companies hired a friend of mine, and they changed. He actually did an educational class with a live student. So he taught. They could see, can he teach? Can he relate? Can he keep the child engaged? Can he work with it? Is he entertaining just enough to keep the kid on focus? And looks, we're totally at the bottom. Age, totally at the bottom. He's an older teacher like me. That switch showed me that the company may be starting to realize what's going on, because there were 4 of these teachers that I got videos 2 years ago on that they hired in, and out of those 4, one of them was really good. There's 3 I would not have hired. Guess what? These 3 that I saw a lot of problems with, and there's a couple more out there that's been around a while, I just see problems. They're team leaders over long-term teachers, over teachers that have been loyal, teachers that have stayed with them, teachers who have given their all for this company. Now, out of the team leaders that I know today, I know 2 of them's been there for a long time, longer than me, and I can respect that. One of them I had a problem with for a long time because something she did to another teacher in a meeting one time. I never forgave her for that, and the way she presented herself in a couple of situations I just really turned off. I've now thrown the olive branch. The other one is just a sweetheart. She's really good. At one time she said she's going to quit, start her own business, but she never really did. I think these two got bumped up in salary or something. But this girl's a great teacher. For me and my style, she puts me to sleep. She really does. But I like those two. I do. I think they teach very, very well. They've been with the company a long time. I can respect them. I could have been in their team under them, and I wouldn't have had a problem. But with these other ones, it was, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. Oh, now I'm a team leader. Hey, I'm a team leader. And right away, this particular one I'm under, you got to have WeChat. You got to have ClassN. You got to have Skype. You got to have this. You got to have, I mean, she's got so many things she wants her team to have so they can get in touch with you. And I don't use half of them. I don't even listen to half of them. I don't even follow half of them. If you can't reach me on WeChat, don't even bother me. I've got an email. If you can't send me an email, don't bother me. I don't have time to keep 5 or 6 apps running on my computer. I just don't do it. Thank God she slowed down a little bit. And then there's a couple of the others, you know, that one of them's got a great talk. He can talk it. He's got the right talk and everything. Another one, and I do know that 2 of them are dissatisfied. They've actually said that, and they're looking to quit as soon as the right opportunity. You see, the young aren't dedicated to longevity. They're in the now, and when the virus and stuff, you know, they're going to move into something better. And I hate that because this is a great company. So let's get back. What I'm saying is this. When you come into a new company, you don't want to come in and take it and say, follow me. You're new. And those of us that's been here a while are going to say, yeah, well, you know, you're like that little new sergeant that came out of the office at headquarters. You get put on the battlefield and suddenly, yeah, follow me, let's take that hill. You want to show them you can be a great leader. You want to show them you can earn those medals. And you get a bullet right between the head when you run up over that hill because the other guys have said, Sarge, right in the middle of 2 different, they're shooting right straight down on us. Until somebody takes care of that hill up, there's no way you can stick your head up. Sure there is. He sticks his head up, bam, gets a bullet right between the head. Or charge, and he gets half of his people, if not all of them, killed. He might make it, but the rest of the team gets killed, but he gets the glory. Oh, you took the hill, but at what cost? When you come into a team, you learn the team. You don't change the team. You don't try to lead the team. You don't try to walk over the team. You don't try to be better than the team. There is no I in that word team. And I hope you remember that. There is the word T. Sit down, get a cup of tea, observe the team, look at the am in there. I am a part of this team. And go from there. This is Teacher Terry. I really hope you have a great future in teaching. I really hope you succeed. But I really hope you look at it from a point of view that I feel is important. It's a team. It's not an individual. It's a professional job. It's not a TEFL. It's not a short term. It's not a come in, reap the harvest and run. And it's not all about you. It's about the team, the company. And when a teacher gives advice and they're called being a troublemaker, that's when you need to turn around and look at the ones who feel like they're being troubled. It's not going to be those older teachers, the ones who were part of the group giving the advice. It's going to be the younger ones who didn't want to take advice. This is Teacher Terry. I do hope you success. See you in the classroom.